Hey y'all. So at this point, this marks the 1 month point since I started posting content to this channel. And we currently sit at 58 subscribers, which is absolutely astounding. I figured I was going to be doing this, posting content to the half dozen friends or family members that I had confided in that I was creating content and begged for a subscriber to get, just a little bit of numbers to be posting to. But to everybody who has subscribed or watched one of my videos, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope that it's been useful. Going forward, I'm going to talk about what the kind of content that I will be doing on this channel for this next month. My goal for the first month was simply to put out a video each day. And the reason for this was a couple. One, I just wanted to get into the habit of making content. And two, I wanted to very slowly get some skills in Premiere and Photoshop. And I've done that. I can now do 3 or 4 things in Premiere, and I'm comfortable enough in Photoshop that for both of those programs, I'm now like, oh, how do I do X thing, Y thing, Z thing that I see in other people's videos? In addition to that, I want to go through and transition further. My last video, the phallus of hip hop video, was doing very well, in part because I posted it to the cesspool that is r/breadtube. And I also think in part because it's a little better quality than the rest of my videos. I don't know if I will ever go so far as to write out a full script for a video. That's not really my style. I'm more of a rough outline kind of person and then talk out through the outline. But I want to get into a better cadence of reading things on my end, so that way I'm keeping what I'm engaging with fresh, and what I'm presenting to you, to all y'all, doesn't become, oh, it's another video about the phallus in the exact same ways that we've talked about it before. And so going forward, what my goal is for this next month until the next one of these updates on the 17th of November. November 17. My goal is, I think I'm going to shoot for twice a week uploads, maybe probably like a Friday, Sunday cadence. And these videos are going to be much more similar to the phallus of hip hop video, hopefully taking in some clips of external media, probably figuring out some like background music shit, etc., etc. I have some ideas of where I might shoot these things, but ultimately I'm going to transition into that kind of content, as well as I want to start a series that will probably launch sometime this week that will be, depending on how much time they end up taking, will either be a daily or every other day type of thing, where very much inspired by oh god, I can't remember his name now. Oh, Sadler, Gregory Sadler. There we go. Gregory Sadler's half hour Hegel videos. I want to go through and do the same with the psychoanalyst philosopher Lacan, Jacques Lacan, because for those of you who don't know, most of his content is done was done in seminars, these yearly kind of conferences that he held for goodbye bird, for the psychoanalytic people in Europe, and they get printed out. I own Anxiety, and I think this is the one I'm going to start with because it's the one I'm most familiar with, though mostly from secondary sources, but I digress. Reading his spoken word is a little bit of a trip, and it's a little bit confusing. My hope is that by reading it out loud and even going so far as to pseudo performing it, that it will make that content a little more accessible, and it will also serve a purpose for me in that it will help be a vehicle to help me get through more of Lacan, because for the amount that I bluff behind them, and attribute thought to them. I've read very little of Lacan proper, more people who are talking about Lacan. So in addition to video essays, again on that like Friday, Monday, twice a week cadence, we're also going to go through and start doing those. Also, there are some other just random creative things that I'll probably put out onto the channel. Doing cover songs is a thing that is very interesting to me, because I think eventually this will be a video, because I want to do a whole essay on what's going on when you cover a song, because I think there's a lot of very interesting things that happen with a cover song. But I digress. Finally, the last thing that I want to say is I have a Patreon that is linked. The reason for this, and the reason that I'm bringing it up, I am not in a position where I need the financial support. However, I would like to do a Discord for whatever people are interested in engaging with me as I do this shit. I don't want what I've been doing with YouTube community posts. I would rather do in Discord, so that way I'm only clogging up the timeline of people who are really interested. And I'll put the tier that the Discord is behind at the lowest amount that Patreon will let me. But the logic for this is very much in line with what Freud thought the logic of psychoanalysis was. He thought that paying the fiscal sacrifice that is done in order to gain access to treatment is actually a condition for the treatment to be successful. If and I've mentioned this before in a couple of my comedy videos, if you go into therapy without thinking that the therapist is going to have anything useful to say to you, if you are not going through and you are not pre-invested in what the therapist is saying, the therapist is not going to have anything to say for your ears. And this act of sacrifice is very much a what am I trying to say? Like, it's a way to truly ask, how much do you want to be engaging with me? If it's worth like whatever the buck that I'll charge you a month for it is, then like that makes it worth it. But I digress. Yeah, if that interests you, go ahead and join up. I'm gonna create that server once I'm done recording this. But yeah, that's the long and the short of it. I have a good number of ideas of what Friday's video essay is going to be. It may, I think the Taskmaster video is going to be one that will come out a little later, just because in order to get the video clips that I want for it, I need to go through more Taskmaster, and it's been a minute since I've watched. But I digress. I've rambled enough. Thank you again for all of your support. Continue. If you ever have any questions, if you ever think I'm wrong, come in at me. I am here for companions, not for followers. I'm looking for people who are interested in the questions that I am asking, rather than some sort of notoriety or fiscal gain. And so, yeah, thanks again. Peace out.